Today we're talking about how we celebrated May the 4th, and then we're also going to be talking a little bit about Peter Mayhew and Chewbacca and what he meant to us on today's episode of Certain Point of View. Hey Nerfherder, I'm Addy Thomas.
And I'm Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View, our Sometimes Star Wars podcast. Today we've got plenty of Star Wars content to go around. We of course have, well, just recently this past Saturday was May the 4th.
Oh my God, I'm still recovering. Listen to me, I'm yawning as we're recording this. I'm
right?
So tired.
But we had a great time. We actually sort of made it a celebration for us.
We celebrated the hell out of this day for two middle-aged guys still celebrating Star Wars.
We really only celebrated half a day, to be honest.
For two middle-aged guys. It was exhausting.
But it was a good day, and we're going to talk about that. And we are also going to talk a little bit about, unfortunately, the recent passing of Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca, and some of our thoughts on him. Before we get going with any of that, though, I do want to remind you can go to our website, certainpov.com, and be sure to check out all of the other podcasts that we have there. But please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe this podcast and any of the ones that you listen to, because that's the best way for us to find new people to listen to us and get a chance to share this with more.
It really does make a huge, huge difference. So thank you for everybody who's done that already, and thank you for those of you who are heading to your computers right now and typing feverishly.
Yeah, you can do that right now. You can listen and do this. It's multitasking. It's all right.
You can even do it at work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, all of that again is on our website, certainpov.com. All right, May the 4th.
Oh my God, so much fun!
I'm surprised it's taken us this long to kind of make May the 4th a thing for us.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we're not great Star Wars fans.
Yeah, we're not the most hardcore of hardcore fans. We are definitely Star Wars fans, but
for sure.
But yeah, we could be better Star Wars fans.
Our game is notoriously lax.
Yeah.
On just about everything we do.
That's true. We are much more casual about life in general, I think.
Yeah. We are passers-by. We are not trying to get involved too much in anything.
Right.
But it was so much fun, man. David Adams coming over, and I love his enthusiasm. And just throughout the day, you just get okay, tell your favorite story about this. And you're just okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved that. Having him part of it was so much fun.
It was, yeah.
It was so special. And you made the most bitchin' ass cake I've seen. You made a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, I did.
Cake.
Yeah, now let's also bear in mind though, so we are slowly increasing the strength of our fandom. I did not go and make every element of this cake.
Nor did it look good.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, it didn't look much like a Sarlacc. I mean, the teeth did.
Yeah.
But the gummy worms?
Well, yeah, I mean, I could only do so much, but it was still a cake, it was edible.
It was great. It tasted delicious. I'm having a piece after we record. This is probably going to be a short episode.
Right. But yeah, no, we got the little teeth inside. Well, I just bought a vanilla bundt cake at Shoppers. I didn't make the bundt cake. I bought slivered almonds. I didn't slice them myself, but I put them inside the inside of it, which, I mean, that alone was the kind of the best part. After that, I could have just said, you know what, we're good. I got some vanilla wafers to be the mouth of the Sarlacc itself, which, let's be honest, that's actually a special edition. I didn't need to do that.
That's right.
The tentacles you need to do, because the tentacles still, grabbed out and, grabbed Lando and all that. So the tentacles were necessary, and those were with gummy worms. I did select the gummy worms we used and did not use any other ones that were green or blue. I only used the yellow ones.
Yes.
No,
you did have to get mildly color coordinated. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing was so this was like a plain vanilla cake, no icing on it. So I put some cream cheese icing on it and graham cracker crumbs for the sand of Tatooine. So,
and it was delicious.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It worked out.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. We had talked about doing some other things, but we decided because J, Mike, and Gene joined us as well. So then there was 5 of us, and we decided we were going to go out to eat. That's really how this all started. Was I was like, I miss my friends. I'm an old man, and I don't have friends anymore.
It originally wasn't a May the 4th celebration. It was legitimately just us getting together with J, Mike, and Gene first.
Have a little guys' night out.
And like scheduling wise, it ended up falling on May the 4th.
Yeah. So it ended up being great.
Yeah.
And we went out to Honey Pig, and we ate so much meat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So good.
So for those of you who don't live in the D.C. area, Honey Pig is a
Korean barbecue.
All-you-can-eat Korean barbecue thing where they bring the meat to your table, and they have like a little round pan inverted, and then they cook the meat right on top of this pan in front of you. And we got 5 servings of meat. 5 different meats, and we couldn't finish the last one.
Yeah.
And I was sweating.
Yes, you were.
I had the meat sweats. But it was so good. It was so good. Everybody was completely satisfied. And it was so much fun just to hang out. And then we watched The Last Jedi. And then we watched Venom.
Yeah.
Because nothing says Star Wars like Venom.
Well, we found out that 3 of
us hadn't seen it.
Yeah, 3 of the 5 people here hadn't seen it. Only me and J Mike had. So it was fun doing that. Mm-hmm. It was more interesting, kind of like, because the movie was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't.
No, it's not a great movie, but it's not bad by any stretch of the
But it was fun watching you guys watching the movie.
Yeah. So it was just a fun day. It was just a relaxing day with a bunch of guys hanging out and chilling in my basement and
playing some video games.
Played video games, until almost midnight.
This was your first time really playing any Mario games. Like in the last couple weeks, I finally got you onto Mario Kart.
Yes.
But that was really it. And then your first time ever playing Smash Brothers,
which I can
and Mario Party,
straight to hell.
You hated Smash Brothers so
can
much.
Go straight to hell. That game sucks.
You do like fighting games, but having something to fall off of, I think it's the thing that sucked for you.
Hell with that game. I'm like Diablo 3 and J Mike with that game. You'll never get me to play that game again. Never. That was awful.
If there was somehow a map where you couldn't fall off of it, I think you'd be into it.
Nope. Not interested.
Oh man, because it was hilarious because he just kept on falling off, and learning to play for the first time and having to recover was the tough part.
And I could never figure out where my character was. Like a lot of time, I wasn't even sure where I was on the map.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I was just having a really hard time tracking everything, and I did not enjoy that game at all.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's an amazing game, but it's probably
that being said, Mario Kart though.
Mario Kart,
I think it taps something in you that
I can play some Mario Kart.
Yeah,
I can see myself playing Mario Kart and getting really into it. Yeah.
You were having fun. You were having fun, and you were consistently a contender.
Early, but then I faded.
You were still second for a lot of those.
No, I wasn't. I was 6th. I finished 6th in a lot of.
A lot of those were unfortunate matters of just suddenly getting.
Yes. I would lead the race for 2.5 laps, and then Gene and J Mike would gang up on me, and then I'd end up in 6th place. Yeah. I like that game. That was a lot of fun.
Mario Party, you own.
Mario Party, I'm all about. That's my speed. That is my speed.
Well, it is definitely a much more casual, a slower game. You get to. It's a lot of mini games.
Yes.
You get to really relax and take it in, and then enjoy those moments of games.
Right.
So, which is perfect for us.
Right. Well, when I knew I was going to dominate the game was when we played it was one of the first mini games we had to play, and it was you had to climb the pole.
Yeah.
And so basically you have to hold your joystick like it's your dick and shake it up and down while pressing the button at the top.
Yeah. No, you were very good at that.
Especially
for a married man.
I destroyed you guys, which makes me wonder what you've been doing with your life.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was surprised I lost.
It really seemed like it should have been in your wheelhouse, but yeah, no, I was like, okay, I got this. I could jerk off with the best of them. Let's go. I did not anticipate our May the 4th turning into a circle jerk via, via the stupid game.
It's a semicircle in front of the TV.
Yeah, that was unintended, but it was a lot of fun. More fun than I thought I'd have doing that.
I mean, the other mini games were great too. All right.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was just one of the mini games. That was just unfortunate.
That was your standout experience. That was the memorable one.
Oh man, this is my game. I get this one.
I was pressing the wrong button. That's the main reason I didn't come in earlier.
Oh, I thought it was because you weren't cupping the bottom of your.
All right, calm down. Oh man,
so much fun. So there was a lot of that going on. All weekend long, people making fun of each other and laughing and giggling. And it was so much fun. So Friday night, you came over. Jenny had to do an emergency dog sitting deal, and so I went out with Brielle and Danya and John and Dan, their significant others, and we all went and saw Endgame. So I got to see Endgame for the second time, but I was tired already. Saturday.
Yeah. That didn't set us up for
So I came I'm like, all right, we're gonna power through this. Okay, here we go. And we did. I mean, it was so much fun, but I am feeling it today.
Yeah.
I am so old. We have to really reconsider our Star Wars fandom. Like, we may be too old to do it.
No. It depends on the speed of it. And I'm fine with more casual, like
we can't do pod racing, man. That's too much for us. This stage.
Pod racing would definitely be too much for us.
Like, we're gonna have to sand people this shit and just walk single file for a while, because it's not. We're all too old for this now. Well, I guess the other guys didn't seem to mind so much, but I am definitely feeling it today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys also came a lot later in the day.
Or left early,
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of them came much later in the day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you and I were going at it right away. We had the music blaring in their house.
Right.
And my kids were involved for a while, which was fun.
Well, but I think also, to be fair, our original plans
were to get away from the kids.
Yeah, so I think you also having those responsibilities early in the day, it was a little bit different, not quite what we...
Kind of ruined the whole day for me. I think I'm going to ask for another day.
Yeah. God go with you on that.
Yeah, no, endeavor. I'm not that stupid to tempt fate with my wife and say, hey, I feel gypped on that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right, yeah, probably not.
No, it was lovely. I told her this morning, I said, thank you so much. I had so much fun all weekend. So.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a ton of fun. I mean, we were laughing like idiots while we were playing.
Tears rolling down my face.
So May the 4th, I think we'd love to hear suggestions on some other things. So if you have an idea of what we can do to expand our May the 4th celebration, I think, because we had a good amount of Star Wars, we watched a movie, we could probably throw in some episodes of something. What we probably should throw in the future is some of the Robot Chicken. Because that's just the right tone for us.
Yes. That's so true. Yeah, I was kind of because I didn't buy any of the any digital copies. I know you have them all. You have digital copies of most of the movies, but I'm just kind of waiting for the Disney Plus service to come out to really just be like, okay, I have all the copies. I can watch whatever I want.
Right.
So that was one thing that, I was so used to Clone Wars being on Netflix.
Yeah.
And now that it's gone, I'm like, oh, I can't watch it. I
think we would have watched some Clone Wars if that had still been available to us.
Or even Rebels.
Although Rebels has never been available. Yeah. So that's always because Because I've looked several times at buying Rebels, but then like with the Disney Plus announcement, I was like, maybe I should hold off on buying it.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get all of that,
You'll get the money out of me eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
That $7 is gonna add up.
But then there's other value also with Disney Plus as well that you're getting too.
For sure,
so.
all the Marvel stuff. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
But so we didn't we didn't partake in a lot of Star Wars media.
Yeah.
But we did talk about it all day long.
Yeah. And leading up to it as well, we talked quite a bit about it. We had sort of like, what would we do if we were to make it more like a religious holiday? Make it like Passover?
Yes. Leave a chair out for Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Well, an old log for Ghost Obi-Wan to sit on.
Old log.
Yeah, for Force Ghost Obi-Wan. So, I still stand by that one. And coming up with different foods that like commemorate different moments in the Star Wars series. So, like the Salt of Crate and, ice cream for the Battle of Hoth,
The burnt marshmallows of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Exactly. We can go with this. You can really run with this one. So,
I wonder what other people's ideas would be to have for that. Like, that would be interesting to see, like, this is how I would celebrate May. This is how I celebrate May the 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we can look into that and see what different people have posted, and we got our Sarlacc pit cake. That was some effort.
That's definitely a tradition.
Yeah,
that's definitely a tradition starter right there.
Either the Sarlacc pit cake. Yeah, every time.
Yeah, you got to make that again.
Really?
It's good.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. I mean, it doesn't look nice, but it's really good.
Right.
It looks like something out of
Sarlacc pit.
I mean, it looks like something out of Nailed It, but other than that, it's great.
Yeah. All right.
No, and I'm just teasing. You actually did a really nice job on it.
Yeah, thank you.
I took pictures and put it on our Discord server.
That's true. You did. Mm-hmm. And I did post on social media as well. So, now, unfortunately, this past week we also lost Peter Mayhew. And so typically we are not a podcast that really talks about like the passing of actors,
right?
Because even with Star Wars, like we didn't know any of these people personally, and while like we do kind of like to talk about like with all of those like the passing of these people like who were barely in our lives are somewhat insignificant, honestly, for a lot of people, for the vast majority of people. But Peter Mayhew touched a little bit more of it somehow ended up being slightly more personal, I think, for us, just because Chewbacca is such a loved part of Star Wars.
Yeah, like Chewbacca is the best friend I wished I'd had as a kid.
And he was originally your absolute favorite character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely
loved You wanted
Chewbacca.
To be Chewbacca.
I did. Yeah, and all I got out of that was just hair.
Yeah.
So goddamn hairy. It's disgusting. I should have made better choices as a child.
But yeah, so I mean, this is one that we're seeing a lot of like great moments and stuff posted for people. So we wanted to take at least a moment to kind of talk about that. And fortunately, we got a few messages from other people on Certain Point of View, part of the podcast family on our website, certainpov.com. Fortunately, we got stuff from them, and we're going to play that first.
Hey, gang. Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon here. I wanted to share what Chewbacca and Peter Mayhew means to me with his recent passing. This is an actor who was known for a few things, but most famously, of course, being Chewbacca, literally being that character, wearing that costume, doing the voice, and all the stories I've read online about how he was always the nicest and was so kind to the fans and cared so much about his co-stars. It's really with a heavy heart that we say goodbye to him as he has recently passed away. But I wanted to also come on the podcast, besides just sharing what Peter and Chewie mean to me. I also want to share one of my favorite Star Wars moments. So starting with what Chewie means to me, he is the epitome of the best friend, the sidekick, the co-pilot, no pun intended, although sort of pun intended, of the Star Wars universe. I think what I really love about that character is that he's just always there, and he has some of the best funny reaction moments and plays so well with Han Solo, Harrison Ford, that he really is the building block, the glue of that team and those original movies, you know. And I was always so happy to see him on screen. I had a Chewie action figure as a kid. I had Chewie stuffed animals as a kid. I loved that character. When I recently went to Star Wars several years ago now for my spouse's birthday, I got to meet Chewie in the character meet and greet area in Star Wars, and I started to cry. I teared up. And yeah, that wasn't Peter Mayhew. It's some other really talented person in that Chewie costume. But still, meeting Chewie, like, just gave me a rush of adrenaline and happiness and made me so excited and brought tears to my eyes because I grew up loving that character. And so I'm even a little emotional now talking about it because I can't believe that Peter's gone. But moving on to a favorite Star Wars moment, I struggled a little bit to come up with one, but then I remembered my absolute favorite Star Wars moment is when Chewie and C-3PO are imprisoned in Cloud City and he's starting to rebuild C-3PO and they're bickering and fighting, and Chewie, as the blue-collar worker and all of us, just ignores 3PO and continues to try and fix him, turns him off because he's talking too much. You know, I love that moment. It's such a great singular moment in the Star Wars series because there's no other characters around. It's Chewie and a disassembled robot, and so we really just kind of get to see him work and be in that space, which is really great. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about Chewbacca and Star Wars a little bit. We'll miss you, Peter. We all have really big shoes to fill now that you're gone. And stay scruffy, my nerf herder.
Chewbacca was always a favorite character of mine. I can't think of any character quite like him in anything, really. And that's rare, and that's amazing. And Peter Mayhew brought such life to Chewbacca. And Peter Mayhew was probably he was the only, like, autograph at a convention that I waited in line for me. The first year that I went to New York Comic Con was probably like 2008, 2009. It was a while ago. I knew that Peter Mayhew was going to be there, and I was like, I need Chewie's autograph. And I waited on lines with comics people, with my friends, and these were writers that I knew and stuff that was cool and everything else. But Chewbacca was the one where I went, I'm getting online to meet Peter Mayhew. The rest of y'all can do whatever you want, but I'm doing this. And it was so worth it. It wasn't a huge long line. It wasn't anything like that, but got to chat with him for a moment. What a warm and delightful human being. And got my picture with him. I have my my 8x10 of Chewbacca that he signed. I still have it, of course, and I treasure it. And I just remember shaking his hand and feeling how massive this man's hand is. I don't have a tiny hand, but his fingers wrapped all the way around, and I'm sure he was used to that and everything else. But it's one thing to see Chewbacca on the screen and love that character. It's one thing to chat with this wonderfully warm and delightful man sitting behind the table, because he didn't stand up. He was sitting down. This is fine. I didn't need him to stand up. But then shaking his hand, I don't know what it was, but that just electrified this feeling of, I'm meeting Chewbacca. And I don't know, it still delights me to this day. And that the both of us smiling, whatever picture is somewhere on my Facebook. I should probably post it or repost it. But Chewie was and still is such an amazing character. Somebody that a lot of us can identify with or get behind or support. And he is utterly unquotable. And I think that can't be overstated how rare and amazing that is. And I think Peter Mayhew brought a lot of that unspeakable beauty to the character and to the franchise and to our lives, really. So, thank you, Peter Mayhew. May the force be with you.
Thank you guys for sharing that. And, it's cool thinking about just that kind of, like, the kind of impact a fictional character can kind of have. It's very easy to write that off. So I don't know, Ben, what are you, like, I get it, we didn't really know Peter Mayhew.
Right.
But what's sort of the special moment? Like, is there a particular favorite moment that of Chewbacca in all of Star Wars that you have? That
Empire Strikes Back, when our heroes are at their worst, and Han tells Chewie he has to look after the princess, and like he's so distraught and fighting for Han, and he's like throwing stormtroopers around, and only Han can calm him down. Like, I love that scene of Chewbacca.
Yeah,
that is quintessential Chewbacca for me. Of just like he is the best friend I always wanted. Like just that person that Han gets into trouble with all over the galaxy, and loves it and loves Han, and like that's, to me, that's great Chewie.
Yeah.
It's
interesting that Chewbacca always comes down to being like what being a best friend is. Mm-hmm. Particularly for Han, but even for the others. Like you have like that. Like even though Leia calls Chewie a walking carpet, it isn't very long after she's already hugging Chewie. In A New Hope. For me, my favorite moment is actually not necessarily is not a moment actually within a movie. It's a behind the scenes moment that I have always loved, and I've always loved. It's of Peter Mayhew, in the full suit and everything. But it's when you've heard the actual, like, the audio of what he's actually saying.
Yes,
and it's one of the takes where Han and he are talking, and I think it's the line where Han says, "You said it, Chewie," and Chewie and Peter Mayhew says, like, we always hear that was always the cool thing about Chewbacca, is the way he's written to like the way he's part of the conversation. But I love that you hear the line and he says, "That old man is mad." Mm-hmm. And hearing it in Peter Mayhew's voice was always fun. It's funny because, like, even though he's the best friend, like, and you always view him as being supportive of the heroes, like, that was a moment that is very much like him having his own character, that he's not just
a yes man.
Yeah, exactly. And I always thought that was kind of funny because, like you can infer that in the movie itself, but hearing it itself was always sort of
actually
like,
hearing the dialogue of what he really says is fantastic.
Yeah, I really like. I love that moment. That always, for some reason, that's always been a standout for me.
And Mayhew's like delivery of that line, like the way he inflects his voice is like very Chewbacca too.
Yeah,
like you're like, if you were in an altered state of mind,
yeah,
where like half a second you go, "Do I know Wookiee?"
Right?
Because it's so good. It's such a great line, such a great delivery of the line.
Yeah,
I imagine that he probably would have had a bigger acting career if he had not been so goddamn tall.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
It was interesting. What an interesting life that guy had. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah,
amazing life.
So it's cool to see he was always one of those people who was known to be nice to people all over the place and on the con circuit as well. So and he was on the con circuit even recently.
He was at Star Wars Celebration signing.
Yeah,
he was in really bad health.
Yeah,
and they said, I saw some reports saying like he could barely look up.
Yeah,
when he was just to look at the people to sign, but he was still there signing and making people feel good and stuff. So
yeah,
more power to him.
Yeah. So on that note, though, I do want to encourage you, if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share as part of this conversation about like what Chewie meant to you, you can do that on our Discord server. You can go to our website, certainpov.com, join the conversation on Discord. And we're having lots of other conversations there. So if it's not just about Chewbacca, but it's just about Star Wars in general, you are welcome to join us. If you want to have conversations about any of our other podcasts, we have a massive Reignite community as well there. Reignite community, a Mass Effect community. Thank you. I know. I'm sorry.
We're both tired. We've established we are exhausted.
Yeah, and I'm not a Mass Effect player, so I also didn't. I barely know what I'm talking about when it comes to Mass Effect. But fortunately, there are people who do know what they're talking about there, and you can enjoy that conversation with them. We've got conversations revolving around all our different podcasts there. Again, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my nerf herder.